You've been told that you're becoming someone new. That growth is about adding more, learning more, doing more. But what if that's not the truth? What if the person you're chasing isn't in front of you, but already within you, waiting to be remembered? Deep down, beneath the noise of the world, the pressure of time, and the story you've been told about who you should be, there exists a version of you that already knows the way. The truth is, you're not becoming. You're remembering. Every dream, every impulse, every quiet pull towards something greater. It's not a random spark of imagination. It's a message, a memory echoing back from your future self. The reason it feels familiar is because you've already lived it in another dimension of possibility. That's why when you see glimpses of who you could be, your heart recognizes it before your mind can explain it. That recognition, that flash of knowing, is not fantasy, it's remembrance. You are living in a field of infinite timelines. Each choice, each thought, each emotion shifts you closer to one version of yourself or another. Your future self isn't a stranger waiting on the horizon. It's a frequency, a vibration, a higher intelligence that's already broadcasting. You don't have to chase it. You only have to tune in. The signal has always been there. The static is the noise of fear, doubt, and limitation. When you silence that noise, the signal becomes clear. Remember those moments when everything felt aligned? When you didn't force anything? When life seemed to flow effortlessly? That was you slipping into resonance with your future self. You weren't trying to become better. You were remembering who you've always been. The feeling of peace, power, and purpose in those moments is proof that remembering is more natural than becoming. Becoming implies distance, something far away, something you're not yet worthy of. But remembering invites you home. It's not a climb, it's a return. The illusion of distance is what keeps most people stuck. They believe they have to work for it, earn it, or fight for it. But when you remember, you realize there's nothing to earn. You simply awaken to the truth that it's already done. The universe doesn't create from effort. It creates from alignment. A flower doesn't force itself to bloom. It simply responds to light. You are no different. When you stop trying to become and start remembering, your actions shift from striving to allowing. You begin to move in rhythm with the intelligence that already designed your destiny. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop searching and start seeing. Your future self isn't waiting in some distant year. It's right here, right now, observing you through every choice you make. Every time you doubt yourself, it whispers, "I've been here before. You've already made it." Every time you feel lost, it sends you symbols, signs, coincidences, small breadcrumbs guiding you back to remembrance. That DAG view you feel sometimes. That's your future self winking through the veil of time, reminding you that you're on the right path. Think of time not as a straight line, but as a loop. The future can reach back just as easily as the past can echo forward. When you visualize your highest self and truly feel the emotion of that vision, you're collapsing the timeline between now and then. You're sensing frequencies, you're bridging worlds. That's why imagination is so powerful. It's not make-believe, it's memory. Everything you desire already exists in energetic form. The car, the home, the peace, the love, the purpose. They're all encoded in your field. But you can only access what you are a match to. The key isn't to run faster, it's to remember deeper. The more you remember who you truly are, a limitless consciousness temporarily playing human, the faster your external world rearranges to reflect it. You are not a body trying to awaken a soul. You are a soul awakening through a body. You didn't come here to find purpose, you came here to remember it. You didn't come here to earn love, you came to remember that you are love. Everything you're searching for externally is a mirror showing you what's already internal. The reason manifestation sometimes feels hard is because we're trying to become what we already are. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the presence inside you that never changes. The awareness that watches your thoughts, your emotions, your memories. That awareness is your eternal self, the one that existed before you were born and will exist long after this version of you dissolves. That's the real you. That's the self that remembers. Now imagine standing face to face with your future self. Not the version you think you should be, but the version that already lives your highest timeline. Look into their eyes. Do you notice the calm? The knowing? They're not impressed by your struggle because they already know how the story ends. They're not anxious because they remember that every detour is still the path. Feel that version of you placing their hand on your shoulder, transferring that memory back into your heart. The memory that says, you already are everything you're trying to become. This is the shift, from chasing to choosing, from seeking to remembering. When you remember, your energy changes first. You stop vibrating lack and start emanating wholeness. You stop asking, when will it happen? And start saying, it's already done. That change in vibration is the bridge that reality uses to reorganize itself around you. Every belief you hold is like a filter on the lens of your perception. Most people see life through the filter of becoming. I'll be happy when, or I'll feel worthy if. But when you remove that filter, you begin to see clearly. You realize that the version of you living your dream life isn't somewhere else. It's a layer of consciousness you can access right now. Remembering is simply peeling away the layers that made you forget. There's nothing you need to fix. There's only truth to recall. And that truth is simple. You are not in the process of becoming. You are in the process of awakening. The pain, the struggle, the confusion, they're not punishments. They're signals. Each one is asking, will you remember now? And when you finally answer yes, everything changes. The world stops feeling heavy. Time feels different. You start moving through life with grace, not because everything is perfect, but because you remember that everything is purposeful. Every experience, every delay, every heartbreak is just another page in the story your higher self already knows by heart. Remember, you're not walking toward your destiny. You're walking back into it. The first step to remembering your future self is to quiet the chaos around you. The world is loud, and it wants you to believe that you are always behind, always incomplete, always chasing something you cannot reach. That noise isn't reality. It's conditioning. It's the story of becoming that society has been whispering into your ear since you were young. But now, you are awake. You are noticing the difference between the noise of becoming and the stillness of remembering. And in that noticing, transformation begins. Begin by observing your thoughts. Notice how often they revolve around what you lack, what you should do, what you have yet to achieve. Every I need to and I must is a tether to the illusion of becoming. Let those thoughts exist without judgment, but don't let them dictate your energy. The more you detach from the pressure to become, the more space you create for remembrance. Remembrance doesn't require struggle. It requires attention, presence, and alignment. Ask yourself, who am I beyond the roles I play, the expectations I fulfill, the achievements I chase? Strip it all away. Who is watching? That presence is your true self. That consciousness is already complete. And when you start moving from that place instead of from the place of lack, life responds. Opportunities that once felt distant begin to appear with ease. Synchronicities accelerate. The path forward becomes clearer. That is the power of remembering. It draws your reality toward the truth of who you are, not toward who you think you must become. Every human carries a blueprint of their highest potential within them. That blueprint is not theoretical, it is real. It is encoded in your energy, in your memories of what you have already lived in higher frequencies. Every moment of inspiration, every insight, every aha you've ever experienced is a reminder of that memory. You do not need to earn it, and you do not need to invent it. You need only to tune in. Think about your dreams. The ones that feel too big, too audacious, too far away. The ones that make your heart race when you allow yourself to imagine them. Those dreams are not fantasies. They are memories of what your soul has already experienced. The reason they excite you is because your future self knows them intimately. That excitement is recognition. That thrill is remembrance. And the more you allow yourself to feel it fully, the more you magnetize that version of yourself into this reality. The path of remembering is also the path of alignment. Alignment is not about forcing events to happen. It is about harmonizing with the frequency of your future self. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, they all carry vibration. When you consistently carry the vibration of your highest self, the world has no choice but to respond. Doors open, connections appear, circumstances shift. But this requires that you maintain a consistent inner state. Inconsistency is the friction of becoming. Consistency is the flow of remembering. One of the most powerful tools in this process is visualization, but not the kind you've been taught in self-help books. The rigid step-by-step version. Instead, let it be fluid. Close your eyes and imagine yourself living as your future self. Feel the emotions, the freedom, the peace, the confidence. Don't ask how it will happen. Don't try to manipulate reality. Simply immerse yourself in the memory of already having it. Your future self is not a goal. It is a presence. Let presence guide your thoughts and actions. Every moment of resistance is a sign that you are identifying with the wrong timeline. Fear, doubt, and worry are echoes of the becoming mindset. They suggest that what you want is somewhere else, outside of you, waiting to be earned. But when you remember, you realize it has never been outside. It has always been within. The resistance is not a wall, it is a reminder. It is asking you to stop striving and start remembering. The body itself remembers before the mind can understand. Notice how your posture changes when you step into confidence. Notice how your heart opens when you feel gratitude. Notice the ease that comes when you act from intuition rather than obligation. These physical sensations are signals from your higher self, guiding you back to remembrance. You do not need to analyze, you only need to feel. Consider the people in your life. Those who reflect fear, limitation, or judgment are not enemies, they are mirrors. They show you where you are still identifying with becoming instead of remembering. Their reactions are like signposts pointing you to the layers within yourself that need awakening. The more conscious you become, the less power these mirrors hold. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of resisting, you allow. Instead of striving, you remember. Time itself begins to feel different when you remember. The past loses its grip. The future stops feeling distant. Every moment becomes a portal, a doorway to the frequency of your highest self. You realize that your entire life has been a rehearsal for this awakening. Every challenge, every mistake, every heartbreak was designed to bring you back to yourself. You begin to see patterns where once there was chaos. You recognize lessons where once there was pain. You understand that everything has been perfectly orchestrated to help you remember. Your imagination is a sacred tool, but your emotions are the true compass. When you feel joy, excitement, love, or peace in alignment with your future self, you are tuning into the right frequency. When you feel fear, frustration, or doubt, you are temporarily disconnected from that memory. This is not a failure. It is simply feedback. It is guidance. It is the universe reminding you to shift your vibration, to remember your essence, and to return to the state of knowing. There will be moments when the world seems heavy, when the pressures of becoming weigh on your shoulders. That is normal. The external world will always present challenges, but your internal state is what defines your experience. The more you remember, the less those challenges affect you. The more you tune into your future self, the more effortless life becomes. You start to see that obstacles are illusions, temporary distortions in perception, and that your true self has already transcended them. Everything in your reality is a reflection of your consciousness. The relationships, the work, the opportunities, even the challenges, they all mirror the level of remembrance you are operating from. When you remember, reality shifts naturally. You no longer chase life. Life chases you. You no longer force growth. Growth flows through you. You no longer worry about who you should be. You simply are who you already are, your highest self, remembering itself. Remembering is not passive, it requires conscious choice. Every time you choose awareness over distraction, presence over business, alignment over striving, you strengthen the connection with your future self. Every choice becomes a declaration: I remember, I am ready, I am here. And with each declaration, your external world bends to reflect that truth. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing anything. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. Every step you take, every breath you inhale, every moment you allow yourself to feel is part of the process of remembering. Life is not a race. It is a homecoming. And the home you are returning to has always existed within you, waiting patiently for your recognition. You are not becoming, you are remembering. And that simple shift in perception is the doorway to everything you've ever desired. As you step deeper into remembering, you'll notice that life itself begins to teach differently. The lessons no longer feel heavy or punitive. They feel like invitations, gentle reminders that your future self is always guiding you, always nudging you toward alignment. These moments are the checkpoints of consciousness, designed to help you remember who you truly are. Every challenge you face, every uncomfortable situation, is not a test of your worth, it is a cue to return to remembrance. Consider the concept of identity. Most people define themselves by what they have done, what they own, or what others think of them. This creates a false story, a story of becoming. But your essence is far beyond that. You are not your job, your relationship, your achievements, or your failures. You are the awareness observing all of it. And the moment you realize this, you step out of the illusion of becoming and into the clarity of remembering. Your emotions are your compass. When you feel excitement, joy, or love, you are aligned with your higher self. When you feel fear, frustration, or doubt, you are resisting the memory of who you are. This is why emotional awareness is more powerful than intellectual understanding. You can read 1,000 books on manifestation, consciousness, or personal growth, but if you cannot feel the truth of your highest self in your body and heart, the remembering cannot fully take hold. Your future self communicates through these emotional signals, through intuition, and through synchronicities. Pay attention to the patterns of coincidence, the moments when the universe seems to bend in your favor, the ideas that arise seemingly from nowhere. These are not accidents. They are whispers from your higher self, reminders that you are on the right path. The more you honor them, the faster you remember. Imagination is another tool of remembrance. Visualize yourself living the life that feels inevitable, the life your future self inhabits. Don't worry about the details of how it will manifest. Focus instead on the sensation of already having it, the peace, the love, the confidence, the freedom. When you fully immerse yourself in that feeling, you send a signal to your entire being that you are remembering. Your body, mind, and spirit begin to realign with that version of yourself. Every thought you entertain is a building block of your reality. When you dwell on limitation, scarcity, or self-doubt, you are unconsciously anchoring yourself in a story of becoming. When you dwell on possibility, abundance, and remembrance, you are tuning into your future self's frequency. The universe does not distinguish between real and imagined. It responds to vibration. Your job is not to control the world, but to align yourself with the vibration of the life you already live in memory. Notice how time feels when you remember. You are no longer racing against a future that feels distant. The past no longer defines you. Each moment becomes a portal into your highest timeline. You realize that every experience, every choice, every seemingly random encounter is a thread in the tapestry your future self has already woven. There is no urgency. There is only alignment. Gratitude is one of the most powerful practices for remembering. When you express gratitude for who you are, what you have, and what is unfolding, you strengthen the bridge between your present self and your future self. Gratitude shifts your energy from lack to abundance, from striving to receiving. Every small acknowledgement of your own presence and progress is a step closer to remembering fully. Self-trust is equally vital. Your future self has already navigated every challenge, every fear, every doubt you are currently facing. Trust in that intelligence. Trust in your own capacity to align. Trust that the impulses, insights, and inspirations that arise are not random. They are your future self speaking through the present moment. When you trust, you stop resisting. When you stop resisting, you remember. The people and circumstances around you also serve as reflections of your remembrance. Supportive relationships amplify your alignment. Conflicting relationships reveal where you are still holding on to limitation. Neither is good nor bad. They are feedback. The moment you stop blaming the external world and begin observing it as a mirror, you step fully into remembering. Every interaction becomes a tool for recalibration. Your body is a temple of memory. Movement, breath, and sensation all carry information about your alignment with your higher self. Notice the difference in energy when you are aligned versus when you are not. When you honor your body, rest when it calls for rest, move when it calls for movement, and nourish it fully, you strengthen the channel through which remembrance flows. Your body becomes a vessel of your future self. Forgiveness is another critical step. Forgive yourself for believing in becoming. Forgive others for the roles they played in reinforcing limitation. Forgiveness is not about condoning. It is about clearing the path for memory. Holding on to resentment, guilt, or blame keeps you anchored in a past story of lack. When you forgive, you release the weight of becoming and step into the light of remembering. Visualization, emotion, awareness, gratitude, self-trust, observation, embodiment, and forgiveness. These are the pillars of remembering. Each practice strengthens the connection between the present and the future self. Each choice to act from alignment rather than struggle collapses time and space, drawing the life you already know into your current experience. Remembering is not linear. It is not a straight path. It is a spiral, a dance, a rhythm that circles back on itself. Some days you will feel deeply connected, other days distant. Both are part of the process. Resistance is temporary. Awareness is constant. With each return, each choice to remember, you accelerate your alignment, deepen your understanding, and step closer to the full presence of your future self. Every step, every breath, every thought is an opportunity. You do not have to wait. You do not have to struggle. You do not have to prove yourself. Your future self is already here, and it is inviting you to remember. The door has always been open. The key has always been in your hand. The moment you realize this, the weight of becoming dissolves, and life begins to flow with effortless precision. You are not becoming. You are remembering. And the more you remember, the more the world around you reshapes itself to reflect that truth. Now, as you stand on the edge of this realization, understand this: everything you've ever desired, every goal, every dream, every version of yourself you've admired, has already existed within you. You are not waiting for circumstances to catch up. You are not waiting for the world to approve. You are not waiting for a future that must arrive. That future is already here, encoded in your awareness, ready to be remembered. The simplest, yet most profound act you can take is to remember that you are not separate from your highest self. You are not a vessel in need of filling. You are not a traveler searching for a destination. You are the memory of yourself, stepping into awareness, reconnecting with what you have always known. The moment you feel this, the energy of struggle dissipates. The need to prove, to earn, or to strive vanishes. You move with clarity, with power, with effortless alignment. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to exist fully as who you already are. You no longer measure yourself against others. You no longer chase approval. You no longer fear the passage of time. Instead, you act, speak, and think from a place of knowing. Every choice becomes a reflection of remembrance rather than a step toward becoming. Your energy, your presence, your reality, all of it begins to vibrate in harmony with your highest self. As you integrate this understanding, notice the world responding. Opportunities appear without effort. Connections flow naturally. Doors that seemed closed swing open. Circumstances that once required struggle now unfold with ease. This is not luck, it is alignment. It is the universe reflecting back to you the memory of yourself. It is the tangible proof that remembering is more potent than becoming. So, whenever doubt arises, whenever fear whispers that you are not enough, remember this: you are not becoming. You are remembering. You are returning. You are awakening. Every step you take in consciousness is a step back into your highest timeline. Every moment of awareness is a bridge to the life you already live. And in this truth lies infinite power, limitless possibility, and profound peace. You are not late. You are not behind. You are already home.